Hey girl, hey. So I'm going to start off this look. Well, I already did one side, but I'm going to start off the other side, I guess, with my brows using the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. This is in the shade Liberatus. Liberatus? Yeah, girl, that's what it's called. I'm not going to go too far in depth with like an eyebrow tutorial or anything like that, but I'm just going to fill in my brows using the Liberatus shade, I believe it's called, and this Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow brush. Next, I'm taking the NYX Wonder Pencil in the shade Light, and I am outlining my brows basically, and just perfecting any mistakes I may have made, and just sharpening the line to give a more shaped looking brow. And I'm going in with this flat brush by BH Cosmetics and just making sure all of the concealer from the NYX Wonder Pencil is all blended out. I'm going to be priming my lids using MAC's Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC15. I've been priming my lids using this concealer lately because I feel like it just gives me a really light base when applying shadow. I'm just blending this out using my Beauty Blender. Then I'm going into my Morphe 350 palette and I'm going into the lightest shade. And there are no names on the shades of this palette, so I'm just going to do the best I can. It is the lightest shade in the palette and I'm just setting the concealer using a fluffy brush. I believe this one is by Bedhead. I'm then going into this tan type of beigey shade on the top row in the Morphe 350 palette. I'm going to be working this into my crease using my Sigma E40 brush, just making sure I get a nice little transition shade going on there. Next, I'm going into this khaki dark yellow mustardy kind of shade, and I'm going to be using my Sigma E25 brush to pack this on the outer corner of my lid to start. And then I'm also going to blend it into the crease area. I'm going to go back in with this color for a second coat to kind of add a little bit more warmth and build up the color a little bit here. And same thing just on the outer corner and into that crease. Then I'm going to go in with a small dome shape brush and I'm going to work this on the inner corner. So really I'm just going to be focusing here on the inner and outer corners with the shade and then connecting the two with almost like a bridge dome type of shape. I'm then going into this dark brown shade with gold little flecky guys in it, and that's on the bottom row here in the 350 palette, and I'm going to be using that same small dome shape brush to apply this to the inner and outer corner of the lid, just going over the color we just put down, that khaki dark mustardy type. I don't even know how to describe that color, but I'm just kind of putting it over that and then deepening that crease by connecting the inner and outer corners, kind of creating that bridge type of thing going on. Then I'm just going to take my Sigma E25 and blend this out, and then just kind of go back and forth, add pigment, blend it out, add pigment, blend it out, that kind of thing. We just want to make sure there's no harsh lines. Kind of take my time here because I want to make sure the kind of halo look is nice and contained and not just all over the place, if you catch my drift. So I kind of just go in and add. You can always add more product, but taking it away is the hard part. So I just gotta tell myself that because I get way too ahead of myself sometimes. Then I'm gonna go back into that dark mustard shade and I'm gonna use it on a Sigma E25 brush to help me blend out any harsh lines. Then I'm busting out my Too Faced glitter glue and I'm going to be applying this using my finger on the center portion of my lid that we left blank, or if you didn't leave it blank, no big deal, just put this on the center portion of your lid. Then I'm going to go into this gold shade in the palette using my Sigma E55 brush and I'm going to start packing this onto the center of the lid and kind of tapering it off as the glue kind of starts wearing off, like where I didn't apply it, just to make sure everything is nice and blended. Then I'm going to go into this pinky, I don't know, shimmery type of shade. I'm gonna put this over the gold shade we just put down to create kind of a champagne-y type of color, which I was digging at the moment. Then I'm gonna go back into the dark brown shade we used earlier and just go back into the inner and outer corners and into that crease socket area to make sure everything is nice and blended and everything looks like it's fading together rather than all these different separate colors, if you know what I mean. So just keep on blending until your hands get tired, basically. I don't know. Anyways, going back into that pinky kind of champagne-y color, I'm going to apply this on the inner corner of the eye to kind of give it a little highlight. I'm going to be using this felt tip liner by NYC to create a wing for this look. And basically I'm just starting off with just a line. Basically it's just a continuance of my lower lash line. That's how I kind of gauge where I want my wing to start. And then I kind of go from the wing and make another little line and then fill it in. I don't know if you guys want to see an in-depth tutorial on how I do my eyeliner, I totally will do one. It's just really hard for me to explain when it's moving so fast, if you know what I mean. I'm then going into this NYX concealer palette, into this light shade here, and I'm going to be using a BH Cosmetics flat brush to kind of sharpen that liner right there. It just makes it really sharp. Then I'm applying some mascara and some lashes. I'm using Cocoa Lashes Risque lashes, and of course I filmed the whole thing and it was out of frame, so you just kind of see the end here. But I'm just applying my lashes now because I don't normally do like one eye and the other, but when I do, I make sure I put on my lashes so I can make sure one eye is not more dramatic than the other, if you know what I mean, when I do my lower lash line, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I'm using IT Cosmetics CC Cream as my foundation and applying it with a dry beauty blender. For concealer, I'm going to be using the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Concealer in the shade Fair and the Sephora Bright Future Concealer in the shade Bavarian Cream. I'm going to use the combo underneath my eyes, and then I'm going to be using the Bavarian Cream just to highlight the center area of my face and all the spots I like to highlight. And then I'm going to be blending it out using my Beauty Blender. I'm going to set my under eye using MAC's Emphasize powder, and this is just the duo they came out with Emphasize and Bone Beige. And then I'm going to go into this Kat Von D powder in the shade Light 42, and I'm going to set my foundation here. Then I'm going back into that dark mustard shade that I still can't quite describe, and I'm using my Sigma E25 brush to kind of blow out my lower lash line. I'm just going back and forth with this, kind of creating some warmth, and also I just love having a blown out lower lash line. I have no idea. It's my favorite thing on earth. And then I'm going to go back into that dark brown shade on a flatter, smaller, kind of definer type of brush, and I'm going to run this across the lower lash line to kind of smoke it out a little bit. I'm also using a black eyeliner pencil to line my waterline and then kind of just smoke it out a little bit using that small definer brush. Then I'm going in with the Maybelline Lash Discovery and applying a coat or 10 of mascara on my lower lashes. For contour, I'm going to be using my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette in the lightest shade of bronzer, and I'm also going to be using this Real Techniques brush, believe it's just a contour brush, to carve out my cheekbones and also add some bronzer a little bit to my forehead and also right underneath my jawline to give that sharp jawline I like, girls. For blush, I'm going to be using my favorite blush of life, which is Sigma's Serene Blush, and I'm going to be using this on an angled brush. I believe this one is by Crown Brushes. I'm also going to go back into the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette into the lightest highlighter type of shade. I'm going to sharpen my contour here just to make sure it doesn't look muddy or anything weird like that. For highlight, I'm going to be going into the Becca Jaclyn Hill Champagne Glow palette, and I'm going to be combining the shade Pearl and Champagne Pop with a Sonia Kashuk brush, and just going to apply this to my cheekbones. Yeah, girl, yeah. For lips, I'm going to be using ColourPop's Kapow, this is the Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick, I believe it's called. And I'm just going to apply this. For my top lip, I'm going to be using MAC's Stone lip pencil to outline my lips first so I don't make too much of a mess. I just like to get the shape down first before I apply my liquid lipstick. I don't know, this is a habit I've had lately and it just makes my life so much easier. So yeah, girls. So this is the final makeup look, and now we are on to outfits.